happy-go-lucky teen and a retired school teacher forge a bond to survive the mean inner-city streets. Soon, their fondness and friendship must face a challenge they never counted on. In a moment. On these inner-city streets, dreams can die before they even get a chance to be born. It takes all the strength and determination a person has just to make it through another day. But sometimes, this is just the kind of fertile ground a miracle needs to take root and grow.
I don't quite know what's wrong, sir. Why don't you put it on the computer? I'll be back in just a second.
Lee Martin was the product of these mean streets. He stuck it out through high school, spent 4 years in the Air Force, came back and went to work in the old neighborhood. He struggled and saved for 12 years until he could finally afford a shop of his own. For Lee, marriage to his wife Marcella happened later than average. They were both into their 30s, which was why when Jimmy came along, he became the center of their lives.
Hi, Pop. Bye, Pop. Hi, Mom. Jimmy! Jimmy, you just stop. Right here, right now.
Oh, Mom, I'm on a tight schedule.
Well, just stop and take a hug break. I haven't seen you since before lunch.
I gotta go. I gotta separate Miss Mary after I transfer her out.
Oh,
I gotta go.
Young Jimmy Martin was carrying a B-plus grade average in school and inherited his parents' attitudes about hard work and personal effort. But the price of the American dream on the streets of the inner city had its daily risks and perils. But if there were jagged evils at the edges of Jimmy's life, there were also safe and happy havens like the home of Miss Mary Harris, age 82. Miss Mary had taught at the elementary level in the Dallas school system for almost 45 years before she retired. Never married, she called thousands of children her own, and her walls were covered with their pictures: business people, lawyers, doctors, janitors, ball players, and a rock superstar. Her kids.
It's me, Jimmy.
Come right on in here, young man. Have a seat right there, my boy. How was school today?
It was all right. We had a test today, and I didn't do very well.
I'm sure you did quite well. You always do. I've got something for you.
Miss Mary had turned so many children into readers that she had lost count. But Jimmy was special. Even his mom and dad had not learned his secret wish to become a writer.
It's the collected works of Langston Hughes.
Miss Mary fanned that little spark every chance she could. From Steinbeck to James Baldwin, Shelley to Miriam Jones, she opened the wonders of words for him.
It's not my birthday till January.
I won't tell if you don't.
Marcella had started a mail-order business with a second-hand typewriter and a $100 loan from Lee. Now it was producing 40% of the family income.
That you, Jimmy? Do me a favor. Check the stove to see that I set it on low. I don't want the soup to boil off. Jimmy! Jimmy! James Ellington Martin? Are you playing jokes on me?
We're home.
It's about time.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, babe.
Hey, show your mama what you got.
Miss Mary gave it to me. We're doing errands and stuff.
You know, we're going to have to meet that lady friend of yours one of these days.
He keeps saying that. But you're always too busy.
Hey, I'm not too busy to shoot some hoops. You up for it?
Sorry. Too much homework.
Oh, now who's too busy?
Langston Hughes. Now, that's some pretty deep stuff for a 13-year-old.
Well, our baby's growing up. Every time I look at him, he's a foot taller. But still, I don't like him spending so much time with that old school teacher.
You're just jealous.
Oh, you bet I am. It seems like he has enough time to run her errands, but he's too busy to play a little round ball with his old man. Soup smells great. Hey, did I kiss you hello yet? Huh? Going to go wash it.
Early morning on the first day of October was clear and crisp. For the budding writer, the combination of bright sunlight and stinging cold was an invitation to jump right into another exciting day. At 10:48 that morning, a neighbor, Madeline Baslin, stopped in for a visit with Miss Mary and found her sprawled on the living room floor in a coma, the victim of a stroke. After school at 3:30, Jimmy was on the street again, off to begin his afternoon paper delivery. At 3:48 p.m., James Ellington Martin, aged 13, who might have picked up the torch lit by Langston Hughes and James Baldwin, was no more. Only another cold statistic, another victim. Miss Mary, of course, had no way of knowing what a fateful autumn day it had been for both her and the boy she had grown so close to. It puzzled her and hurt a little that Jimmy had not come to see her in the hospital.
You're looking good.
But she put it down to adolescent vitality. Perhaps a girlfriend or a sudden interest in sports. Then, when she could make her way around, Miss Mary insisted on going home. In the weeks since her stroke, Miss Mary made great progress and was doing quite well for herself, but she dearly missed seeing Jimmy. Miss Mary lay on the kitchen floor in great pain, unable to move, unable to save herself, while the leaking gas was making the situation deadlier and more hopeless with every passing moment.
Help me, please. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. Who's that? Help me. Help me, please. Help me. Oh, Jimmy. Jimmy.
Miss Mary? Miss Mary? Miss Mary? Miss Mary?
What happened? Are you all right?
I fell in the kitchen. Couldn't get up. The gas was on. But thank God Jimmy Martin came in when he did.
I don't know who it was that came in, but it couldn't have been Jimmy. Us neighbors, we thought we'd wait until you got better before we say anything. That same morning you had your stroke, Jimmy Martin was shot and killed.
Oh, no. Can it be?
Months after Jimmy had been buried, the grief and the anguish continued to tear at the hearts of Lee and Marcella Martin. Where there had been joy and hope, now there was only an emptiness.
Honey, what are you doing?
I don't even know why we bothered to buy a stupid tree this year.
Well, we tried.
Hello?
The same evening Miss Mary heard of Jimmy's death, she called his parents to tell them of the miracle that had happened.
Whoever you are, I hope you've had a nice laugh with your little joke.
Who's that?
Jimmy's friend, Miss Mary. Or somebody saying she was. Playing a bad joke. Said Jimmy was at her place today.
Crazy people.
Miss Mary was troubled and disappointed that her message had been taken as no more than a prank. Still, she felt what had happened had a meaning beyond just the saving of her life.
Baby, I'm home. What's wrong?
I was getting together some of Jimmy's things for Goodwill.
Had to do that the day before Christmas, huh? No wonder you're feeling down.
That's not it. I found this Christmas present in Jimmy's closet. Put it away for Miss Mary. And I got this in the mail today.
Although we haven't met, I feel I know you so well. I deeply share the grief of your loss. Jimmy and I grew very close. He became the grandchild I never had. And I believe for him, I was the grandmother he never knew. I have no explanation for what happened the other day. Your son came to me in that moment of need, and he saved my life. He may not be with us on this earthly plane, Mrs. Martin, but I know without question, his very real spirit is still here watching over us and spreading his love, just as he always had.
Miss Mary, I'm Marcella Martin. This is my husband, Lee. We're Jimmy's parents.
I'm so glad you came.
Merry Christmas, ma'am. This is something from Jimmy.
That dear boy. Can't you just stay for a while?
We'd really like that.
You know, we really appreciate the time you've spent with Jimmy.
Three people whose lives were touched by a tragedy and by a miracle were united and bonded for the first time by a boy whose love was unconditional and unrestricted by this world or the next one.